at the moment we're in lockdown, in quarantine, like so many of you around the world. So normally you will find us traveling the world, eating the best local food and documenting it on this YouTube channel. But we cannot do that at the moment because we're in lockdown, so we want to bring the flavors that we've had in our videos back to the home kitchen.
Our kebab platter has arrived and it is humongous. Today we're recreating a giant kebab platter that we ate in Istanbul, Turkey.
Teşekkür ederim.
This thing was a behemoth, made up of chicken wings, lamb, grilled vegetables, salads, flatbread. We are going to be cooking every element of that dish in our home kitchen today.
And the aim is for it to taste exactly like the one we have in our video. So not just a general kebab platter taste, we want the exact taste that we experienced in our initial video.
And I love this style of eating in Turkey. It's very convivial, you often share food, and so it's just a really fun way to eat.
And we want to show you how to bring that street food flavor back to the home kitchen. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
Let's get cooking with this one. We had this meal 3 or 4 times while we were in Istanbul because it was that good. So I cannot wait to recreate it in the home kitchen here in New Zealand. So a few things stood out with this giant kebab platter versus other platters we had while we were in Istanbul. One was the meat, which was very simply spiced, perfectly seasoned and cooked in this giant pit of charcoal. So the flavors were absolutely amazing. The salads that they put with it were put together so well. Simple Turkish flavors done very well, and also the staff were just unreal, so welcoming.
My name is Hassan, his name is Jumali. This big usta. I was thinking this.
So we've got a ton of components to put together to make this dish. For starters, we've got to make red pepper paste, we've got to make the lavash, so the bread to go with it. We have to marinate the meat, we have to cook up the meat on the barbecue, so there is a ton of components to do to get this meal together.
The first part of the meal that we have to work on is the red pepper paste. Now we saw the guys using the red pepper paste on the flatbread, on the lavash. They were plopping some onto the middle of the bread and then swirling it around the bread to give it flavour. And then the red pepper paste is also used in the marinade of the chicken. So I'm taking some jarred roasted red peppers and I'm going to whiz them up in the food processor with some lemon, with some salt and with some paprika. We've whipped up the red pepper paste and now I'm going to use that to marinate the chicken with. So biff it into the chicken and then I'm going to add some salt and pepper, some chili flakes and also some paprika. There were 3 styles of kebab on that gigantic platter. We've got some shish kebab that are pieces of lamb which have been put on a skewer and then grilled. Then we've got some tavuk kanat, which are grilled chicken wings. Then we've got these minced kebabs along the side here, and they are Adana and urfa, so minced lamb. We've got a bunch of different salads. We've got some blistered peppers and then some stacks of lavash, which are flatbread. Now we've got the chicken wings marinating, so that's ticked off. The shish kebab we're not going to make because we couldn't get the right style of lamb at the supermarket, so no shish kebab for us, but we are going to make the Adana kebab. Now Adana kebab are very special. They're from a city called Adana in Turkey. They're made up of minced lamb, fashioned onto a skewer. They're spicy, and there is a very special ingredient that makes them stand out, and that is tail fat from the lamb. So when we ate it at that kebab shop, I remember the Adana kebab being very juicy. There was a really good balance between meat and fat. Oh man, that Adana is so smoky. We have only got minced lamb. We don't have the minced fat portion for the Adana kebab, so we're going to have to just make do. But I'm going to just take this minced lamb and chuck in some salt, some pepper and also some chili flakes to give it that spicy kick. I've given this lamb mince a good old mix, and now it's time to fashion this meat onto the skewers. So check out this big skewer that I've got here, exactly like the ones in Istanbul, and I've just got to get this lamb mince onto it. So the way they do it is press it on, and it's always quite long and quite flat. You can see that the mince is actually a little bit sticky or tacky in texture, and I achieved that by adding a bit of water to the mixture. So press that on there. I think it's looking pretty good. Everything that's going to be popped onto the barbecue to cook has been prepped exactly the way that we saw it being prepped at the restaurant. So here we've got our Adana kebab, so the minced lamb kebabs, and then this is the tavuk kanat, the chicken wings. They've been marinated, stuck onto the skewers, and then there were some cooked vegetables as well. So we've got tomato and we've got some peppers. Now at the restaurant, in the window, they had stacks of skewered peppers and tomatoes ready to be popped onto that grill, and they also had this big meat cabinet, so all of the chicken and the lamb that was all skewered and ready and waiting to be popped onto the grill. So we've tried to recreate the situation just like the restaurant.
So there's a serious pit of charcoal here to cook, and this is all the meat that's going with our giant platter.
Yeah. It's good.
Lavash is a really important part of this meal, so the Turkish flatbread, and on the platter they had stacks of lavash, tons of it. So we've decided to make our own. Last night we made up a dough of flour, lukewarm water, olive oil and salt. It's been resting overnight, and now it is time to roll it out. So I have portioned it up, and I'm going to try and get it into quite a thin flatbread. So resting it for quite a long time hopefully means that it's going to be easier to roll out, and then I'm going to just cook it in a fry pan. I rolled out a few lavash, so that's pretty round. The dough is really soft and pliable, and I'm just going to cook them in a fry pan, no oil or anything, just let them bubble up. Okay, look, it's puffed right up, so I reckon it's time to flip it. Whoa! I'm so chuffed with how that's coming up. Wow, look at that, it's only taken like 30 seconds to cook.
Now that lavash is cooked up, it is time to get some meat on the grill. So I'm going to start with the chicken and the vegetables, because I think the lamb will take a bit less time to cook. Now, we don't have an incredible pit of charcoal, but we do have a barbecue, so I'm going to use the barbie. But what I've done is set up these little racks, because I do not want these kebabs completely sitting on the grill, because I don't want them to stick too much, especially with the lamb. So I'm just going to put them on my little rack to cook them up. I want to get these peppers off. Look at them, they're looking so good, all charred, those beautiful black char marks on the skin, and the sweet smell coming from those peppers is amazing. And my little shelf sort of stacker system here is working quite well. I wanted to keep the meat and the vegetables up off the actual grill surface. So at the restaurant they had a similar setup, but because of the charcoal, so they didn't want the meat and the vegetables touching that charcoal, getting all dusty. That's not a problem for me, but what I wanted is it up off the grill, so those grill marks aren't just hitting straight onto the meat and the vegetables. I wanted the heat surrounding it, and I think it's working pretty well. So I'm going to get these vegetables off so they don't completely be overdone, and next we'll get those lamb kebabs on here. All right, vegetables off, Adana kebab time to go on. So this one particularly is why I made this little shelf, because I don't want these to get stuck on the grill and then just break apart. So I want them to sit nicely up in the air, cook away, drip their fat down on the hot shelf, and have their fat and the flavor coming back up as smoke. Oh, this is looking good. This takes me back to being in Turkey, watching them cooking all of this food at the restaurant. Spectacular. something that's very key to a lot of Turkish dishes is parsley, and it's something we definitely need for the salads with this meal. Luckily, we've got access to this wee herb garden which has some parsley in it, so I'm just going to cut some little sprigs of parsley so we can add them to the salads for this meal.
It's time to assemble these salads. So I've chopped up some onions, some tomato. Thomas has gathered the parsley from the herb garden. And at the restaurant, the Usta, who's the grill master, was quite a showman. So when he was assembling the salads, he was tossing the spice and he was liberally dressing it with lemon juice and pomegranate molasses, or a pomegranate molasses mixed, and it was very vibrant, and he was doing everything with a real flourish. It was great to watch. Now, they actually served 3 different types of salads on our platter, but we are only going to be making 2 because we have only got what we've got in the pantry and in the fridge. So I'm going to start with this onion one. It was onion, parsley, sumac and lemon juice and a bit of salt and pepper. So let's grab some of this red onion, toss in the parsley, and he was literally just dousing the ingredients with lemon juice and tossing a ton of sumac in. Now sumac is a really important herb in, or important spice I should say, in Turkish food. It's actually a berry from the sumac bush, and it has a beautiful lemon-like flavour, and so it's used very liberally in Turkish cuisine. So that's looking really good. So just really simple. Onion, lemon juice, sumac and a ton of that parsley. And now for the second salad. So onions, tomatoes, parsley, lemon. He threw in, I believe it was pomegranate molasses, and then a spice, maybe paprika. So we're just going to do the same. Toss it all together. So chuck the parsley in as well. And then he had a bottle of lemon juice. That's what I've got here too. And he literally just went like this. So all over those onions, and that's also going to help slightly pickle the onion as well, which is going to be perfect. Tossed in a lot of pomegranate molasses. Let's just slosh a whole lot of that on there. And then some sumac. And he was really just getting in there with his hands, so mixing up the salad. It was really cool to watch, so I'm just doing the same. It's time to prepare the lavash for the platter. They are looking absolutely wonderful. Now, at the restaurant, the Usta took his lavash and then he plopped a little puddle of the red pepper paste in the middle, and then he slapped another lavash on top and moved it around in circles so that the pepper paste spread all over the lavash. So that's what we're going to do now. Grab one, pop a little bit of the red pepper paste in the middle, grab another one of the lavash, pop it on the top, and then smush it around. Wow, yeah. So you can see all of that red pepper paste coating the surface of that lavash. This is looking great. Okay, the red pepper paste has been smeared all over the lavash, the flatbread, and now it's time to stack them up and then whack them up. The chef was just grabbing piles of lavash, and there were like quite hefty stacks of this flatbread, and then he was just popping them into a big pile and then whacking them up with this big cleaver that he had. So let's just do the same. Stack up the flatbread. Wow, we've got a hefty pile here. Let's just grab this wooden chopping board and chop them in half. Whoa, yeah. And then stack them up like he was, a really thick stack, and he was chopping them into thirds. So we'll do the same, and then we can plate them up. The meat has come off the grill. We've got our salads, we've got our grilled vegetables, and we've got our stack of lavash. So it's now time to plate up. Now the platter at the restaurant was so breathtaking. It was ginormous to begin with, and it was colourful, just reds, greens, yellows, browns, all of the stunning Turkish produce just there on a gigantic platter to shine, and it was so appealing. So I really want to try and emulate the platter that we ate. So try and create something that looks exactly like the one that we ate at the restaurant. So let's get this Adana kebab on here first, slipping off those skewers pretty well. Wow. Oh, all right. Adana is on. Now it's time to get this chicken on. Oh, this meat is smelling insanely good. So let's rip the chicken off of those skewers. Oh, it's so juicy. And time to add all of this color. So the salads were dotted around the outside. So let's just plate them up like this. It's looking really good. Now just for the final touches, he popped some lemon on the platter and then finished with a tiny bit of parsley sprinkled all over the top, and then a little slosh of pomegranate molasses just around the place. Ha!
Teşekkür ederim. Amacım abi. Takipler var.
I know. Excitement levels are sky high.
Look at this thing.
It's so impressive.
It's not quite as big, but there were 4 of us the day we filmed this in Istanbul, and we struggled to finish it then. So for 2 of us,
we need some of you guys to come over here to New Zealand and help us dig into this.
let's get into this thing. What a great dish to recreate.
I'm gonna go for the chicken wing.
Okay, I'm going for the kebab. Rip it apart. Straight in. Oh. Oh man.
Holy moly, that's good. Oh wow.
Oh yum.
You go first.
So this is very much like Istanbul, where the meat shines, and that's what I liked in Istanbul. The seasoning wasn't too heavy. Sorry, the spicing wasn't too heavy, but the seasoning was perfect. This is very heavily salted, works a treat. I can actually taste the lamb, which I love. It's a little bit spicier, so it's got a little bit more chili going on than the one in Turkey, but that's all right.
This chicken wing is really juicy. Like the one at the restaurant, it's not overly spicy or flavoursome in terms of the marinade. Like the marinade's not too strong, so you can really just get the beauty of the chicken flavour. It comes through. I've got to get into this lavash. I'm so impressed with our lavash. Like,
Yeah.
is it good? And these salads.
Oh, I had the red onion salad that time. Now, the onions are a bit different actually to what were being used in Istanbul, but we only had what we had, so we mixed it up with the 2 styles of onions to see which one would be our favourite.
Oh man, it has taken me right back to Istanbul. And I think that's because of the sumac and also the pomegranate molasses. So 2 ingredients and the parsley. 3 ingredients that really shine in Turkish cuisine. They're so distinct. And it's coming through here. It's so good. Wow.
Yeah, that salad with the sumac. Whoa, that's what I just ate when I blew up then with excitement, because that flavour is exactly like it was. This has come up a treat. An absolute treat. Loved recreating this one, and this has definitely brought the flavours back from Istanbul to the home kitchen. Awesome thing to recreate while we're on lockdown.
This is what this cooking series is all about. Just using what you've got in the kitchen, substituting where necessary, but still bringing the essence of those flavours from the streets of the world into the home kitchen. This has been such a cracker of a one to recreate.
That is gold. If you've enjoyed the video, leave us a comment, hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to support this channel, join us on Patreon.
Patreon.
That word. Wow, this has been a good one. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Heaps more street food recreations coming to you from our home kitchen. See you guys.